This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast, bringing you current events, news, NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer, UFC, boxing, and more. Make sure to hit us up on the website, thesportshound.com. And now, here's your host, Tigsta.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast with yours truly, Tigsta. And this is the NCAA tournament edition. We're about to get into these brackets, y'all. I think this year is going to be complicated to try to really pick these teams to go all the way and do their thing. Now, we got those main schools out there that, is in the limelight, and they get the good recruits and so forth. A lot of times your star players, they're like one and done and they go pro. But you have these mid-major schools that have talent that stuck around about 3-4 years, junior, senior years, on that team, develop continuity with each other and have a good, strong team presence. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into this, man. Let's start off with the first four. We have the first four, which is there's 4 games that they play into the field of 64. Some of them are for the 11th seed and others are for the 16th seed. Starting on Tuesday. Tuesday, what we will have, game 1, we will have LIU Brooklyn versus Radford. The winner of that game gets the 16th seed to face the number 1 seed of Villanova. Also that day, Tuesday, the second game, game 2, will be St. Bonaventure versus UCLA. The winner of that game there will get the 11th seed to face number 6, Florida. Okay, that's what your 2 games are for Tuesday. So that'll get your first 2 bids into the field out of the first 4. On Wednesday, March 14th, what you will have in game 1, you will have North Carolina Central versus Texas Southern, and the winner of that game will get the 16th seed to face number 1 Xavier. Game 2, you will have Arizona State will be going up against Syracuse for the 11th seed to face 6th seed TCU. And that happens on Wednesday. After those 4 games are completed, Tuesday and Wednesday, you will have your final field of 64 for the tournament to start this Thursday, which is the 15th, and Friday, the 16th. So now that we have the first 4 out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into how these brackets came out and were set up. Okay, what we have out of the South, you have number 1 seed Virginia. That's right, Virginia will face UMBC, which will be on Friday. That game will be Friday. You will have Creighton versus Kansas State, which Creighton is the 8th seed, and you will have Kansas State at 9. That will be Friday as well. Kentucky at the 5 seed. Davidson will be the 12th seed, facing each other off on Thursday. You will have Arizona as the 4th seed going up against Buffalo, the 13th seed, on Thursday. You will have Miami versus Loyola Chicago on Thursday also. Miami being the 6th seed and Loyola Chicago the 11th. You have 3rd seed Tennessee versus 14th seed Wright State on Thursday. You have the 7th seed Nevada versus 10th seed Texas. That's also on Friday. You will have not 8th. You would have the 2nd seed Cincinnati versus the 15th seed Georgia State, which will be on Friday also. Out of the West bracket, you have number 1 seed Xavier, which will be the number 1 seed versus the 16th seed, which will be the winner from the North Carolina Central versus Texas Southern for that 16th seed to face them. The date on that game is not set yet, but we will know once the North Carolina Central versus the Texas Southern game will be over. You also will have Missouri at the 8th seed versus Florida State, the 9th seed, which will take place on Friday. 5th seed Ohio State versus South Dakota State, which is the 12th seed. They too do not have a date set as far as Friday or Thursday. So we'll give that'll come out soon too though. You have number 4th seed Gonzaga versus 13th seed UNC Greensboro, which will be played Thursday. You have 6th seed Houston versus 11th seed San Diego State on Thursday. You have the 3rd seed Michigan going up against the 14th seed Montana, and that will be Thursday. Texas A&M, the 7th seed, will go up against 10th seed Providence on Thursday, and you will have the number 2 seed North Carolina Tar Heels versus number 15th seed Lipscomb. Yes, Lipscomb. That will be played on Thursday as well. Now we move on over to the eastern part of the bracket. You have number 1 seed Villanova taking on, like I said, out of the first 4, the winner from the LIU Brooklyn and Radford game, which will be the 16th seed. Virginia Tech at the 8th seed versus Alabama, the 9th seed, which Avery Johnson has those boys playing. We're going to discuss all that, though, in a minute. Let's get these brackets going, though. That game will be played on Thursday. You have the 5th seed West Virginia team going up against 12th seed Murray State. That's Friday. Wichita State is at the 4th seed versus the 13th seed Marshall, which is played on Friday. 6th seed Florida will go up against 11th seed, the winner, which will be the St. Bonaventure in the UCLA game. No date has been set for that game as far as Thursday or Friday, but we shall learn that date once that play-in is finished. You have the 3rd seed Texas Tech versus the 14th seed Stephen F. Austin, which will be played Thursday. You have the 7th seed Arkansas Razorbacks. That's right, against the 10th seed, who is it? Butler. Butler is the 10th seed. They will be playing each other on Friday. They gave the 2 seed to Purdue, who will face 15th seed Cal State Fullerton, which will be played on Friday. Going into the Midwest bracket, you have number 1 seed Kansas versus the 16th seed Penn from the Ivy League, which will be played on Thursday. You have the 8th seed Seton Hall going up against the 9th seed North Carolina State, which is played Thursday. 5th seed Clemson against 12th seed New Mexico. You have 4th seed Auburn versus the 13th seed Charleston, which will be played on Friday. 6th seed TCU will face the winner from the Arizona State and Syracuse play-in, which will grant the winner, the 11th seed, to face TCU. That date has not been set yet also. You have the 3rd seed Michigan State Spartans against the 14th seed, who did they give? Bucknell. Bucknell got the 14th seed, and they'll be facing Michigan State on Friday. You have Rhode Island at the 7th seed with Oklahoma at the 10th seed facing off on Thursday. And to round out the whole bracket, you have the 2nd seed Duke Blue Devils going up against 15th seed Iona, which will be played on Thursday.
You want sports? We got it right here. This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast.
Now we have the bracket set. Yes. Now, as usual, okay, we have the number 1 seeds. We know our number 1 seeds are, they gave it to Virginia, Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier. Those are real solid, good teams. Those teams can go far this year. They got the talent, and they, have the team to go ahead and go far into the tournament. But the big thing that we have to pay attention to is, when it comes to selecting your brackets, is the upsets. Now, we could talk about these upsets. I got a couple of teams that I really like have an eye on and like, as far as pulling off some upsets that could happen this tournament. So the one that I like the most, let's go into, let's see. I have one team in mind, and this team has about 3 players. So, okay, let's get into it like this. The one thing that I know is that a lot of these mid-major, smaller schools, like I said, they have players that's on the team for about 3-4 years, so they have a good continuity with each other, and have a good strong team base as far as knowing each other, playing with each other for a while. You know what I mean? Grabbing, getting that that team bond, so they pretty much know how each other plays and whether to look for them on the floor and so forth. But the main ones that I really have my eye on, the ones I've been checking out, Charleston is a team to go ahead and pay attention to. This team here is one of those schools that you better pay attention to. They finished with a 26-7 record, right? And they're coming out of the Colonial Athletic Association, with the being seeded out of there. They have a couple of guards on this team that's real solid. They've been on the team for a while, and they put up points. You have the guard Grant Ryler, or whatever how you pronounce it. He's a sophomore, but for this season this year for them, he has put up 18.7 points a game. Damn near, he's real close to 20 points a game. And then you have the other guard, who also damn near duplicated it, if not just by just point 0.2 points, which he put up 18.5, which is Joe Chile, and he's a senior. But see, these are the kind of schools I was talking about with the players that's been on this team for a while. Even though Grant Ryler is only a sophomore, it's still 2 years under his belt with Joe Chile being a senior, so he has 4 years. And it shows because they're putting up like about 20 points a game, and that's solid for them. That's a team you should keep your eye on. Keep your eye on Charleston. That can be a surprise for you. Other teams you have, I know LIU Brooklyn has a play-in, but if you pay attention to their school, they have like in their starting five, there's about all five of those players average double digits. It may not be high points they average, but they do have like two solid players, especially with let's see who else. Joel Hernandez, which he's a senior, he's a guard. He's throwing up 20.9 points a game, almost 21 points a game. And then he has help at guard also with Raekwon Clark. He's a junior guard, putting up 17-4. So I mean, they got scoring. You know what I mean? You got two solid scorers, with one being a senior, one being a junior, and like I said, that's 3 years and 4 years playing with each other. These dudes got a good continuity with playing, and they're gonna be held to one of these schools out there that like might have just one main dude, but these dudes, they show that they can score. Now the record for LIU Brooklyn is not that like great at 17-16, but see, when it comes to these losses, you got to pay attention to do as far as where did these losses come from. You know what I mean? You can come out the gate slow, then all of a sudden get hot. Just looking at the record is not going to dictate how their season is just by just looking at the numbers. We got to know the truth behind those numbers. So that's a team that could really push another team. I'm not predicting any of these teams to like win it all, but as far as like causing upsets to really throw people's brackets off this year is a real strong possibility. That's another team that I like. Another one I would say, let's see, what's the team that's solid that can really give these other teams a real scare when it comes to playing one another is maybe Lipscomb is I don't expect them to do much. I don't expect Lipscomb to do much. They got a couple of good solid players, guard and forward, but once again, like I said, I think their two main scorers are both juniors. Rob, what's the dude's name? Rob Mayberry, I think the forward is a junior, and I think he averaged like about 16 a game, and then he has help at guard with Garrison. What's the dude? Garrison Matthews, I think his name is a junior. He's a junior too, and I think he's over 20 points a game too. But they got a good little 1-2 punch. But the teams that they got to come off against is not going to be anything, what I mean, that's gonna they're not gonna do an upset. Put it that way. It's the teams that's gonna have a little bit higher of a ranking or seed. That is like a mystery type team that no one really is really paying much attention to, but can sneak up in there and give you hell. Um, but yeah, LIU Brooklyn is one. I'll keep your eye on them just to see how they play. But Charleston, that's my favorite upset. That's one of my Cinderella teams in this tournament is Charleston. I like Charleston and the firepower that they bring, to these games. Also, the other teams that I think you might want to pay attention to, South Dakota State. I really don't know much about them, but they did finish the season at 27-6, and they do have a good potent 1-2 combination with forward Mike. What's Mike's name? Mike Dom, or I think his name is a junior. He's like 23.8 points a game, and then you got David Jenkins Jr., the guard, a freshman, 16.1 a game. That's a good little dude right there, cause those two dudes just amongst themselves is almost 40 points a game, just been averaging this year, and they got a high percentage of wins at 27-6.
You want sports? We got it right here. This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast.
We gotta let it play out and see what happens. I like keeping my eyes on these Cinderellas, man, because like I said, you always have the usual suspects, you know what I mean, from your North Carolinas and your Dukes, and Villanova's been in the mix, and stuff like that, man. So it's gonna be interesting this year to see what happens, how this pans out, man. But it's exciting. This is an exciting time of year. March Madness, man. Everything is just crazy, and everything is really gonna just jump off Tuesday with these play-ins, and I'm looking forward to really see these matchups, cause like I said, there's schools out there that you really don't get to see. They're not in the limelight. They're not on TV, your major networks or whatnot, for, people that's not familiar with the school and the players to really see and be like exposed to them. So this is their perfect opportunity to go ahead and get in here and show their stuff. And one thing about this tournament that's really, really something that I really like, this is what makes it so just like the competition just fierce. It's a one and done situation. It's like you can either win and continue on, or you can lose and go home. It's not a best of 7. It's not a best of 5. There's no we'll get them next game. No, it's one. So either you're gonna have the game of your life or the worst game ever. And the tournament is the worst place to have your worst game because there's no get back from it. Now, if you can all of a sudden just get hot, like from your conference, tournaments, teams get hot and win it all, that's not the number 1 seed, or, to get into the tournament, they have to have the automatic bid, which is winning their conference championship. And a lot of these teams that get into that, you might have that clear-cut number 1 team that is going to get a bid anyway. Even if they lose the tournament, they're going to get, like, for instance, today I watched Houston. They lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati wins the conference championship. They get an automatic bid. But Houston, being the top team to me, as far as they put up points. They play good. They still got a bid to get into the tournament. So they were going to get it. But you got these other schools that they have to win this to get in. To even have a chance of getting in, you have to win your championship of your conference. And man, you see a lot of great games, man, with these buzzer beaters, and oh man, I'm telling you, I'm getting goosebumps just sitting here thinking about waiting. You know what I mean? When you think about waiting for the tournament to start rather than just waiting on it, man, I'm telling you, this is gonna be one to remember. I guarantee you. I ain't gonna guarantee you because that's ridiculous. But anyway, I can promise you're gonna have some games come down to a wire that's gonna be upsets. And it's going to change the whole dynamic of whatever your bracket you went with as far as your picks go. It's going to change the whole dynamic, because if one of these top seeds happen to fall, it's a domino effect. If you get a 1, 2, 3 seed to fall early. Man, that's going to be some crazy stuff because it's going to be a wrench into everything. So, yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to this March Madness, man, with these teams. Man, I'm so excited, dude, because I'm like, man, this is once a year. You know what I mean? And after March Madness, then you already know we go into the NBA getting ready for the playoffs for them to start. And then if you're in the NHL, you got hockey coming too. So it's like the wind down to the winter and the fall sports, or shall I say the winter sports, getting ready to go into the spring, which you have Major League Baseball starting up. Yeah, man, it's an exciting time because when it winds down, it gets real intense, and you can see the gameplay on the court of how these guys really take to the fact of trying to get into the tournament. Because I mean, it's an up for grab type title. You know what I mean? And I love the way the NCAA has this, laid out. I love the fact that they got the first four where you can play into the seeds, into the 16th and the 11th seeds. Just give teams extra opportunities, because if you just go, like I say, solely on the record, you don't know how, unless you watch this team and seen where they took their losses and got their wins. You can come out the gate slow and then end the season on a good note by running off games. So it's a momentum thing. If you can go into the tournament with a momentum and you guys got that continuity, everybody's healthy, and you're in there and you're playing real good ball, you have an equal opportunity. You know what I mean? So like I said, some of these schools out there, they get the top recruits in the nation. But that doesn't matter, because a lot of these top recruits, if they're really that good, it's most likely they're doing a one and done. They're gonna play their freshman year, put up some points, do good with their school, whether they win the tournament or not, and then they're gonna go pro. These other smaller schools have to have the student athletes stick around for about 3-4 years. And all that does is help that team, because they're developing as players and they're developing a rapport with each other on that team as a team. Whether it's the coaches and the students, they have a constant there. You know what I mean? So it's, to me, these smaller schools are a better team as far as developmental wise, but these top tier schools might be better with talent wise. So that's where you get the two things. And like I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You're gonna get some schools that got that's just filled with experience, and then you got these schools that just filled with athletes, just talent, just real good talent. And it's like heart and ability. You know what I mean? You can win a championship with heart, and you can win it with ability. And it's just, man, that time of year is going down. That's all I'm going to tell y'all. It's going down. And by the way, check out our Facebook page. I need you guys to go ahead and go to on Facebook and go to Sports Hound Media and go ahead and enter the Sports Hound Bracket Challenge, which is in conjunction with Capital One that they have going on here. The name of the group is the Sports Hound. So go ahead and get your team, get your picks ready. Go in there and you know what I mean. Let's see what you guys can do. Let's see how good you guys are with selecting these teams and understanding. Can you pick the upsets, and you get good bonus points on upsets, and you point up when you get the right selection. But the upsets, I made it where it's going to be more. So if you can pick them and get a good bracket and see if you can pick the Final Four, maybe even the champion, man, you did it. We'll do a feature on you, you know what I mean? And get you one of these Sports Hound t-shirts or something. So, man, let's get this, tournament going. Well, I'm just excited to get this, thing going, man. So that's what you have for your tournament this year. You guys go ahead and fill out your brackets. Like I said, once again, go ahead and I want you to subscribe to everything we got going, man. Go to Instagram and find us on there at Sports Hound Media. Find us on Twitter at Sports Hound 24/7. Facebook at Sports Hound Media. And also the website at thesportshound.com. Go ahead and leave us a message. Like, follow, share. We appreciate y'all. I look for you guys to come back on episode 9. We'll give y'all some more stuff, and just follow us, man, and support us, man, and thank you. For those who do, thank you. And this is Tixter, and I'm out.
Thanks for checking out the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark podcast. For more exclusive content, follow us on all social media. Twitter, SportsHound 24/7. Instagram, SportsHound Media. Facebook, SportsHound Media. And on the website at thesportshound.com. And tell your damn friends about the hottest sports podcast on the web.